One of the things I hear almost every week in my clinic is this: Doctor, my knees just aren't what they used to be. Maybe you've said the same thing yourself, or maybe you've heard it from a friend. You wake up in the morning, step out of bed, and before your day even begins, there's that dull ache in your joints. Climbing the stairs feels harder, walking across the grocery store feels longer, and sometimes even holding a coffee cup with a stiff hand feels like a challenge. If you've ever felt that way, let me tell you, you're not alone. Joint pain is one of the most common struggles for people over 60. But here's the part that so many don't realize: it doesn't have to take over your life. I've worked with patients who thought they were destined to live with that discomfort forever, and yet, with the right changes, they found real relief. Imagine being able to walk around your block, play with your grandkids in the yard, or even just get a restful night's sleep without waking up stiff and sore. That's not just wishful thinking, it's possible. And it can be done without relying solely on heavy medications or endless doctor visits. So, if you've been looking for a natural way to ease your joint pain and get back to enjoying your daily life with less stiffness and more freedom, stay with me. Hi, I'm so glad you're here today. I'm a doctor, but more importantly, I'm someone who deeply understands what you're going through. I've seen firsthand how joint pain can slowly chip away at your confidence, your energy, and even your happiness. But here's the truth: there are safe, natural approaches that can make a huge difference, and today, I want to walk you through them. We're going to talk about simple adjustments you can make in your daily life that can ease stiffness, improve mobility, and reduce that constant ache. These are strategies that real seniors in the US are already using every day with success. Things that don't require expensive treatments or complicated routines. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, old injuries, or just the natural wear and tear of aging, you'll find something here that can help you. So let's start this journey together. By the end of this video, you'll not only have practical tools you can start using today, but you'll also feel more hopeful about what your body is still capable of, even after 60. One of the first things I always tell my patients is this: movement is medicine. I know it might sound counterintuitive because when your joints ache, the last thing you feel like doing is moving around. But here's the reality: when you stay still, your joints get stiffer, your muscles weaken, and the pain actually gets worse over time. On the other hand, gentle, consistent movement keeps blood flowing, reduces stiffness, and actually nourishes the cartilage inside your joints. Now, think about it like oiling a squeaky door hinge. If you let it sit unused, it only gets rustier and harder to move. But if you give it regular motion, it glides more smoothly. That's exactly what happens with your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and even your fingers. Now, you don't need to run marathons or hit the gym for hours. I've seen patients in their 70s and 80s find incredible relief just by starting with a daily 10-minute walk around the block. Add in some gentle stretching before bed, maybe a little chair yoga or light water aerobics at the local YMCA, and suddenly their mornings don't feel as stiff. And here's something you might not know: water is one of your best friends when it comes to joint health. When you're dehydrated, the tissues around your joints lose lubrication, and that dryness makes movement more painful. I had a patient who thought her knee arthritis was worsening rapidly, but when we looked closer, she was barely drinking 2 glasses of water a day. Once she increased her hydration, simply sipping throughout the day, not gulping, she was shocked by how much easier her knees felt. Another natural way to help your joints is through what you put on your plate. Certain foods have powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Think of fatty fish like salmon or sardines packed with omega-3s that calm inflammation. Add in bright berries like blueberries or strawberries, which fight oxidative stress. Even a sprinkle of turmeric in your cooking can make a noticeable difference over time. I often tell patients, think of your kitchen as your first pharmacy. It's where real healing can begin. Of course, while we talk about adding foods, it's equally important to know what to limit. Too much processed sugar, fried foods, or even soda can stoke the flames of inflammation, making joint pain worse. I know it's not easy to say no to that slice of cake at a birthday party, but when you remember how much lighter and freer your body feels when you choose better foods, it becomes a powerful motivator. And let's not forget about weight. Even a small amount of extra weight puts significant stress on your joints. Every extra pound adds about 4 pounds of pressure on your knees. So, losing just 5 or 10 pounds, sometimes simply by swapping sugary snacks for fruit or adding in daily walks, can drastically reduce joint pain. I've seen patients who couldn't walk down their driveway without discomfort suddenly able to enjoy hiking trails again, just from shedding a little weight in a healthy way. You might also consider the role of simple natural remedies. Warm compresses can loosen up stiff joints in the morning, while cold packs can ease swelling after activity. It's the same principle athletes use, but tailored for everyday life. One of my patients keeps a heating pad by her recliner and uses it for just 15 minutes in the morning, and she says it changes the entire tone of her day. Another often overlooked factor is sleep. When your body doesn't rest properly, inflammation rises and joint pain tends to worsen. Creating a nighttime routine like reducing screen time before bed, keeping your room cool and quiet, and even using supportive pillows can make a remarkable difference. Sometimes it's not that the pain is unmanageable, it's that the body isn't getting the chance to repair itself overnight. And finally, let me say this: hope matters. When you tell yourself, I'm too old, I can't do this anymore, your body listens. But when you say, I can take one small step today toward feeling better, your body listens to that too. I've seen people who thought their best days were behind them discover that they could still garden, still dance at their granddaughter's wedding, still walk the beach at sunrise without pain ruling every step. That's the beauty of natural healing. It doesn't just reduce pain, it restores joy. Another simple yet powerful tool I often recommend is stretching. Now, I don't mean forcing your body into painful positions like a gymnast. I mean gentle, steady stretches that you can do right in your living room. Picture this. After you've had your morning coffee, you stand near a chair for balance, and you slowly stretch your calves, roll your shoulders, and gently rotate your hips. These small movements can release tension and improve flexibility over time. I've seen patients who could barely bend down to tie their shoes begin to regain ease and confidence with just a few minutes of stretching each day. And let's not underestimate the power of posture. Many seniors spend hours sitting, whether watching TV, reading, or working on a puzzle. Over time, slouching adds pressure to the spine, the hips, and even the knees. By simply sitting with your back supported, shoulders relaxed, and feet flat on the ground, you take stress off the joints without even realizing it. I had one gentleman who used to complain of constant back and hip pain, and when we corrected his sitting posture, he said it was like lifting a weight he didn't know he was carrying. Massage can also be a gentle ally. You don't necessarily need a spa appointment every week, though that can certainly help. Even a simple self-massage with warm oil on your knees, hands, or shoulders before bed can increase circulation and reduce stiffness. Some of my patients use natural oils like olive or coconut oil, and they find the soothing touch relaxes not just the body but the mind too. Now let's talk about supplements. Many people ask me, Doctor, should I be taking something for my joints? And my answer is, sometimes, yes. Natural supplements like glucosamine, chondroitin, or even turmeric capsules can help some individuals. But remember, not every supplement works for every person, and quality matters. It's always important to check with your doctor before starting something new. Still, I've had patients who noticed real improvements in stiffness and flexibility when they added the right supplement to their routine. I also want to mention footwear. Believe it or not, the shoes you wear can play a huge role in your joint health. Supportive shoes cushion your steps and reduce the pounding on your knees and hips. If you've been wearing the same pair of worn-out sneakers for years, it may be time to invest in something new with proper arch support. One of my patients switched to cushioned walking shoes, and after a few weeks, she told me she felt 10 years younger just from the change. Breathing and relaxation techniques are another overlooked piece of the puzzle. Stress increases inflammation, and inflammation worsens joint pain. Deep breathing, meditation, or even listening to calming music can bring the body into a more relaxed state, which helps joints feel less irritated. I had a retired teacher who began practicing simple breathing exercises each morning, and she said not only did her knees feel better, but she felt lighter in spirit too. And let's not forget community. Doing these things with others, whether it's a walking group at the local park, a water aerobics class at the YMCA, or even stretching with a friend over Zoom, keeps you motivated and adds joy to the process. Social connection is a powerful medicine all on its own, and when combined with healthy movement, it can transform the way you feel each day. I want you to picture yourself 6 months from now. Imagine you've added a daily walk, swapped out a few unhealthy foods for anti inflammatory choices, kept yourself well hydrated, and stretched each morning. Your joints feel looser, the stiffness is less overwhelming, and you're able to move with more confidence. That's the future you can move towards starting today, one small step at a time. One of the most heartwarming things I've witnessed over the years is how quickly the body can respond to even the smallest, most consistent changes. Take gardening, for example. Many of my senior patients love it but worry that the bending and lifting will aggravate their joints. Yet, when they begin with raised garden beds, use a small stool, or take breaks more often, they discover that tending to their flowers and vegetables not only eases their stiffness but also brings joy to their spirit. That combination of gentle movement, fresh air, and sunlight can do wonders for aching joints. Another story that always stays with me is from a patient who thought she'd never dance again. She used to love swing dancing with her husband, but arthritis in her knees had made it unbearable. Instead of giving up completely, she started doing simple chair exercises while listening to her favorite music. Little by little, she built her strength and balance back. A year later, she surprised herself by being able to sway, turn, and even enjoy a few slow dances again at her granddaughter's wedding. That kind of progress reminds us that movement doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. Now, let's touch on the role of the mind. When pain lingers, it can sometimes feel like it's in control of your whole life. But mindset matters. I often encourage my patients to keep a small pain journal. Each day, they write down what activities made them feel better and what made them feel worse. Over time, patterns emerge. Maybe walking in the morning feels easier than walking at night. Maybe certain foods seem to trigger more stiffness. That awareness is empowering, because once you know your body's rhythms, you can work with them instead of against them. Nutrition is another area where small adjustments add up. Think about swapping one soda a day for a glass of water flavored with lemon. Replace a processed snack with a handful of walnuts or almonds. These changes may sound small, but they provide your joints with the building blocks they need to stay strong. I've seen seniors who once depended heavily on fast food start preparing simple meals at home, like grilled chicken with steamed vegetables, and the improvement in their joint pain was nothing short of remarkable. Let's also talk about balance exercises. You may not think of balance as being directly related to joint pain, but when your balance improves, you're less likely to stumble or put sudden strain on your knees, hips, or back. Simple moves, like standing on one leg while holding onto a chair for support, can strengthen your stabilizing muscles. I had one patient who practiced this every day while brushing his teeth, and within weeks, he noticed he felt steadier on his feet, which gave him the courage to walk longer distances without fear. Sleep, too, deserves more attention here. When you're in pain, it's easy to toss and turn all night. But sleep is when your body repairs and rebuilds tissue. One strategy I suggest is keeping a consistent bedtime routine. Dim the lights, put the phone away, and try a warm bath or herbal tea before bed. Even investing in a supportive mattress or pillow designed for joint comfort can change the way your body feels when you wake up. I often tell patients, sleep is nature's best anti-inflammatory. And it's true. And then there's sunlight. Just a little time outside each day not only lifts your mood but also helps your body produce vitamin D, which is essential for healthy bones and joints. If you live in an area with long winters, a vitamin D supplement may help, but whenever possible, step outside for a short walk or sit on the porch in the morning light. That simple practice can keep your joints, your bones, and even your immune system in better shape. I want to remind you, too, that progress doesn't have to be dramatic to be meaningful. Maybe today you take a walk to the end of the driveway, tomorrow it's to the corner, next week you might make it around the block. Each step builds on the last, and over time, those small victories add up to major changes in your quality of life. One of the most heartwarming things I've witnessed over the years is how quickly the body can respond to even the smallest, most consistent changes. Take gardening, for example. Many of my senior patients love it, but worry that the bending and lifting will aggravate their joints. Yet when they begin with raised garden beds, use a small stool, or take breaks more often, they discover that tending to their flowers and vegetables not only eases their stiffness, but also brings joy to their spirit. That combination of gentle movement, fresh air, and sunlight can do wonders for aching joints. Another story that always stays with me is from a patient who thought she'd never dance again. She used to love swing dancing with her husband, but arthritis in her knees had made it unbearable. Instead of giving up completely, she started doing simple chair exercises while listening to her favorite music. Little by little, she built her strength and balance back. A year later, she surprised herself by being able to sway, turn, and even enjoy a few slow dances again at her granddaughter's wedding. That kind of progress reminds us that movement doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be consistent. Now, let's touch on the role of the mind. When pain lingers, it can sometimes feel like it's in control of your whole life. But mindset matters. I often encourage my patients to keep a small pain journal. Each day, they write down what activities made them feel better and what made them feel worse. Over time, patterns emerge. Maybe walking in the morning feels easier than walking at night. Maybe certain foods seem to trigger more stiffness. That awareness is empowering because once you know your body's rhythms, you can work with them instead of against them. Nutrition is another area where small adjustments add up. Think about swapping one soda a day for a glass of water flavored with lemon. Replace a processed snack with a handful of walnuts or almonds. These changes may sound small, but they provide your joints with the building blocks they need to stay strong. I've seen seniors who once depended heavily on fast food start preparing simple meals at home, like grilled chicken with steamed vegetables. And the improvement in their joint pain was nothing short of remarkable. Let's also talk about balance exercises. You may not think of balance as being directly related to joint pain, but when your balance improves, you're less likely to stumble or put sudden strain on your knees, hips, or back. Simple moves, like standing on one leg while holding onto a chair for support, can strengthen your stabilizing muscles. I had one patient who practiced this every day while brushing his teeth, and within weeks, he noticed he felt steadier on his feet, which gave him the courage to walk longer distances without fear. Sleep, too, deserves more attention here. When you're in pain, it's easy to toss and turn all night. But sleep is when your body repairs and rebuilds tissue. One strategy I suggest is keeping a consistent bedtime routine. Dim the lights, put the phone away, and try a warm bath or herbal tea before bed. Even investing in a supportive mattress or pillow designed for joint comfort can change the way your body feels when you wake up. I often tell patients sleep is nature's best anti-inflammatory, and it's true. And then there's sunlight. Just a little time outside each day not only lifts your mood but also helps your body produce vitamin D, which is essential for healthy bones and joints. If you live in an area with long winters, a vitamin D supplement may help, but whenever possible, step outside for a short walk or sit on the porch in the morning light. That simple practice can keep your joints, your bones, and even your immune system in better shape. I want to remind you, too, that progress doesn't have to be dramatic to be meaningful. Maybe today you take a walk to the end of the driveway, tomorrow it's to the corner. Next week you might make it around the block. Each step builds on the last, and over time, those small victories add up to major changes in your quality of life. One thing I've noticed with many seniors is how joint pain often changes the way they move without them even realizing it. For example, when knees hurt, people sometimes start favoring one side, walking with a limp, or avoiding stairs altogether. The problem is those little adjustments over time put extra strain on other joints like the hips or lower back, and before long, new aches show up. That's why being mindful of how you move is so important. I often encourage patients to slow down, focus on even steps, and use supportive railings or canes if needed. When you move with awareness, you protect your joints from further wear and tear. Now let's talk about staying active in ways that actually feel enjoyable. Not everyone loves the gym, and that's okay. The key is finding movement that feels natural to you. Some of my patients love swimming because the water supports their weight, making movement easier on the joints. Others enjoy dancing in their living room to old favorite songs. One woman told me she started gardening not just for fresh vegetables, but because bending, stretching, and reaching in the soil gave her joints the gentle workout they needed. The more fun you have, the more likely you'll keep at it. Something else worth mentioning is the role of small daily choices. For instance, instead of sitting for hours watching TV, try standing up and stretching during the commercial breaks. Instead of parking as close as possible to the store, park a little farther and walk in. These tiny habits might not seem like much in the moment, But over weeks and months, they add up to stronger muscles, looser joints, and a more confident body. Another area I encourage seniors to look at is their home environment. Sometimes joint pain isn't just about the body, it's about the spaces we move in every day. Rugs that slip, stairs without rails, or chairs that are too low can make movement more painful and risky. By adjusting the environment, like adding a handrail, choosing supportive seating, or using slip-proof mats, you reduce the strain on your joints and keep yourself safer at the same time. Let me share one more patient story with you. A gentleman in his late 60s came to me convinced he'd never enjoy golf again because of his shoulder pain. We worked together on gentle range of motion exercises, added anti-inflammatory foods into his diet, and adjusted his swing technique to be easier on the joints. Slowly, the pain eased, and before long, he was back on the course, not just playing, but playing better than before. His smile that day reminded me that joint pain isn't the end of your active life. It's just a signal from your body asking for care and adjustments. And here's something I want you to carry with you. Your body is resilient. Even when it feels stiff, sore, or tired, it still has the ability to heal, strengthen, and adapt. Every glass of water you drink, every stretch you hold, every healthy meal you prepare, it's like a small gift you're giving your joints. Over time, those gifts build into a healthier, freer, and more comfortable life. Another natural support I always encourage is mindful pacing. So many of my patients push themselves hard on good days, doing all the cleaning, errands, and yard work at once, only to pay the price with stiff, aching joints the next day. What I remind them is this: balance matters. Spread tasks out, take breaks, and listen to your body's signals. Imagine it like budgeting your energy. Instead of spending it all in one day and being left broke with pain, you pace yourself and have more steady comfort throughout the week. Hydrotherapy is another powerful, simple tool. Warm baths can soothe sore joints, while alternating warm and cool water can boost circulation and reduce inflammation. Some of my patients even use local community pools for water walking, which takes weight off the joints while still strengthening muscles. One woman in her 70s told me water aerobics was her secret. She could move freely in the pool in ways she couldn't on land, and she always left class with less stiffness and more energy. I also want to talk about the role of mental wellness in joint health. Pain doesn't exist in isolation. It affects your mood, your outlook, even your relationships. When people feel discouraged, they sometimes stop trying, and that's when joints get even worse. I encourage seniors to stay engaged in hobbies, friendships, and joyful activities. Whether it's painting, birdwatching, or joining a local walking group, keeping the mind happy often translates into a more resilient, less pain-sensitive body. Nutrition deserves another spotlight here. Did you know that spices and herbs like ginger, turmeric, and garlic act almost like natural anti-inflammatories? I had a patient who began drinking warm ginger tea each evening. Within weeks, she reported her hands felt more flexible and her morning stiffness wasn't as sharp. These little changes in the kitchen add up, and unlike harsh medications, they carry the added benefit of nourishing the whole body. And let's not forget strength training. Now, I know that word can sound intimidating, but strength training for seniors doesn't mean heavy weights at a gym. It can be as simple as lifting light hand weights while sitting in a chair or doing resistance band pulls at home. Stronger muscles protect joints, absorb shock, and reduce strain. I had a gentleman in his early 80s who started with 2-pound weights. After a few months, not only did his shoulder pain ease, but he also said opening jars and carrying groceries felt easier. That kind of progress is what makes life more enjoyable day by day. Sleep hygiene also plays a hidden role. Poor sleep can heighten the perception of pain. I recommend establishing a calming bedtime routine, perhaps dimming the lights, listening to soft music, or practicing deep breathing before bed. Even supportive pillows designed for side sleepers or for under the knees can dramatically reduce nighttime discomfort. When you wake more refreshed, your joints have had the chance to recover and the day feels lighter. Finally, remember that healing doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. Small, steady habits build up. Every walk, every stretch, every healthy meal, it's like laying bricks for a stronger, more mobile future. I've seen patients who once feared they'd lose their independence reclaim their energy and their joy by sticking with these natural approaches. One of the simplest but most effective tools I've seen for joint relief is consistency. I know that sounds basic, but it's often the missing piece. Many seniors try something for a week or two, maybe walking, stretching, or changing diet, and then stop when results aren't immediate. But the body heals gradually, and joints respond best when they are cared for every single day. I tell my patients, think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't brush once a week and expect strong teeth. You do it daily. Joints need that same steady care. Now let's touch on circulation. Healthy blood flow is like fuel for your joints. When circulation slows, joints stiffen and inflammation rises. Something as simple as ankle circles while sitting, tapping your feet while watching TV, or standing up every 30 minutes to stretch can improve circulation. One of my patients with desk-like habits at home, he loved crossword puzzles for hours, started setting a timer to get up every 20 minutes. He noticed his hips didn't lock up as much and his lower back pain eased. Small interruptions in sitting time made a big difference. Another natural approach is the use of supportive aids without shame. Some seniors resist canes, braces, or supportive cushions because they feel it makes them old. But these aids are tools, not weaknesses. They protect your joints from unnecessary strain and allow you to keep moving safely. I had a woman in her late 60s who resisted using a walking stick until I convinced her to try. Once she did, she realized she could walk farther and with less pain. And she told me it gave her life back instead of taking it away. Let's also explore the emotional connection. Joint pain doesn't only make walking difficult. It can steal simple joys, like playing with grandchildren, working in the yard, or traveling. I remember a retired truck driver who came to me, discouraged because he couldn't climb into his RV anymore. With gentle leg strengthening and a better diet, he slowly regained enough stability to get back behind the wheel and take short road trips again. His smile the day he left for his first trip in years told me everything. Relief isn't just physical, it's emotional. We also can't ignore the role of inflammation triggers. Some foods or habits silently fuel joint pain. Processed snacks, sugary sodas, fried foods, they all turn up the body's inflammatory response. But replacing even a couple of those with fresh vegetables, whole grains, or lean proteins can calm that fire. One of my patients swapped her nightly soda for sparkling water with lemon. After 2 months, her hands, once too stiff for knitting, began moving more freely. It wasn't a miracle drug, it was just a shift in her daily choices. Something many seniors find surprising is how much posture during sleep impacts joints. A pillow between the knees for side sleepers or under the legs for back sleepers can take pressure off hips and spine. Adjusting the height of pillows to align the neck can reduce morning stiffness in the shoulders. It doesn't take new medicine. Sometimes it's as simple as rearranging how you sleep. And finally, I want to remind you, movement doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need to look like an athlete. What matters is progress. If you walk slowly, that's okay. You're still moving. If you stretch gently, that's okay. You're still loosening your joints. Every small effort counts. The body, even after 60, 70, or 80, still has the ability to heal when treated with kindness and consistency. When we step back and look at everything we've talked about today, there's a clear theme that runs through it all. Healing and relief don't come from one magic pill or one single routine. They come from the small, steady choices we make each day. Moving your body, fueling it with nourishing foods, staying hydrated, resting well, managing stress. Each of these pieces works together like gears in a machine. And when the gears turn in harmony, life becomes smoother, freer, and more joyful. I know joint pain can sometimes feel like a constant shadow, a reminder that things aren't as easy as they once were. But what I've seen, again and again, is that the body still responds. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, or even 80, the body still listens when you treat it with care. I think about a patient of mine in his 70s who once told me, "Doc, I thought my active days were over." And yet, with small, consistent changes, he found himself back in his workshop, building wooden toys for his grandkids, pain-free enough to stand and smile while doing what he loved. That's the power of not giving up on yourself. You don't have to do everything at once. You don't have to be perfect. Just start with one change. Maybe it's a short walk after dinner. Maybe it's adding a few berries to your breakfast. Maybe it's 5 minutes of stretching before bed. Each of those steps is a gift to your future self. And as the days add up, You'll notice you can do things you thought were slipping away. That's what I want you to hold on to. The truth that your best days of comfort and freedom may still be ahead, not behind. I want to thank you for spending this time with me today. I know you could be anywhere right now, but the fact that you chose to listen, to learn, and to care for yourself, it tells me something important. It tells me you're ready to take steps toward a healthier, more comfortable life. And that makes me proud of you. As you move forward, remember that you're not alone in this. Every senior who struggles with stiffness, every person who's had to slow down because of pain, you're part of a community that understands. And together, by sharing our stories and supporting each other, we can make the journey lighter. If today's conversation gave you even one idea, one spark of hope, or one bit of encouragement, I'd love for you to stay connected. You can like this video, share your own experience in the comments, or subscribe so we can keep walking this road together. It's not about numbers, it's about building a place where seniors feel seen, supported, and encouraged to live fully. So until next time, take good care of yourself. Move a little, rest a little, and don't forget to enjoy the simple moments that make life beautiful. I'm wishing you health, comfort, and joy in every step you take.